Welcome, everyone. Before we introduce today's speaker, I wanted to inform you that you are also able to add subtitles or live captions to this event. To do so, please click on More at the bar on the top of your screen, then move to Language and Speech and click Live Captions. You can also install this function by going to More and then click on Settings and turn on the captions in the Accessibility section. But without any further delay, I would like to welcome today's speaker, Theodora Ziampasi. As you can see, your cameras and microphones are disabled in accordance with the GDPR laws. As this webinar is being recorded. This recording will be shared along with a presentation of the webinar during the beginning of next week, so please stay tuned for that. Now, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this European Commission's webinar on Booked for Life in a Digital World. My name is Kira, and I will be your host today. This webinar is organized by the European School Education Platform, which we invite you to take a look at your earliest convenience. My colleague Marta will share all of the necessary links in the chat, and we are very happy that you are joining us this afternoon. Today, we will discover how, in an AI-driven and STEM-dominated era, reading and writing play a transformative role by fostering self-expression, personal connection to literature, and multicultural dialogues. You will explore creative activities and digital tools to balance the tactile pleasure of traditional media with interactive storytelling, nurturing a lifelong love for reading and writing. And to do that, we have Theodora with us. Theodora is a primary school teacher, a scientific ambassador, and a certified adult educator based in Greece. She holds a master's degree in teacher education and training, with her thesis focusing on creative writing in education. With experience in designing and implementing innovative school projects, many of which have received awards, she has also conducted workshops and training sessions for teachers in Greece and across Europe. Her main interests include creative thinking, creative programming, artificial intelligence, STEAM, and digital tools. So, without further delay, Theodora, the virtual stage is all yours.
Hello, is everything okay?
Yes, all good.
Okay, perfect. Hello, everyone. I'm truly honored and delighted to be here. Thank you to Marta and Kira for the invitation and to all of you for your interest. I imagine most of you booked your seat today because of the 3 questions posed in the webinar description. Kira mentioned them little seconds ago. I'm going to address them by sharing stories from my personal journey in learning and teaching, a journey full of round trips between creative writing and computing. And along the way, I've gone down many rabbit holes of digital learning. And I know I wasn't alone there, dear colleagues, because we all feel overwhelmed sometimes. We all face the challenge of maintaining balance while keeping interest alive. And to get to know each other better, I'd like to ask, how much do you identify with this reader profile? Does any of it resonate with you? Are you a book-bosomed libercularist who has a bit of Chindoku and enjoys bibliosmia? If it's all Greek to you, it's not. Okay, you can in the meantime scan the QR code or go to menti.com and type the code to answer the questions. And I have to say that Chindoku is Japanese libercularist that comes from Latin. But if you're feeling lost in translation, don't worry, I'm adding the translation in the Mentimeter. So you see, when a word is coined for something, it means it's real, it's a thing. And the love for reading is definitely a thing. Books are more than texts, they're offline pleasures, inviting us into their smell, texture, and atmosphere. And both adults and children enjoy the physical objects, the spaces, the libraries, and the rituals connected to reading. So I will have a look at your answers afterwards. This could be taken from my scrapbook or even from my Facebook, though not confirmed. It is said that Rowling, writer of Harry Potter, was inspired by Livraria Lelo in Portugal. I bought this book with its rabbit hole, and the very image that inspired the rabbit hole effect, or a metaphor in many contexts, smartphone addiction or doom scrolling being some of them. The thing is that reading real, printed, and complete books, whole books, can act as an antidote to doom scrolling and other side effects of digital consumption, especially the way our feed shortens our attention span. Reading strengthens concentration, memory, and boosts cognitive power. Just think about it. When you're reading a book, you need to remember what happened in the previous chapter. You need to mentally map out the characters and stay committed to following a plot over several days. And plus, note that according to key figures from the Union of Skills Plan, 1 in 5 people struggles with reading and writing. It appears that reading can upgrade our system. And what made you smile when looking at this coming panel? If you think about it, in creative writing, we use symbols and metaphors. We play with words to bring together ideas, especially when they are distant or even opposites. This often introduces an element of humor, surprise, and delight. A caricature, a comic panel, or even a meme can all be expressions of creative thinking. In a striking thought experiment, Steve Johnson, an author, imagined that it would be like if someone were firmly against books. What if video games had been invented and widely adopted first, before books? If that were the case, we would have read articles claiming reading is riddled with negative aspects. Reading books chronically understimulates the senses. Reading books chronically understimulate the senses, and they bring isolation. This is the second negative aspect. But perhaps the most dangerous property of these books is the fact that they follow a fixed linear path. And despite the fact that all these arguments can be easily debunked, they still reveal the power of language we address today. In the context of the author's work, his progressive point is that we can enrich literacy skills by embracing new interests and forms of media. Narratives like video games don't threaten traditional literacy. They can actually complement and expand it. We can go beyond the literary canon. If you find this alternative story thought-provoking, I consider it so. Note that it reflects creative writing techniques often recommended for young writers and techniques I have used with my students. It blends what-if prompts with twists on familiar stories, altering timelines or reversing heroes and villains. Eugene Drevizas is a famous writer of children's books, and one of his books, The Three Little Wolves and the Big Bad Pig, subverts the three little pigs, and subverts expectations by portraying the wolves as lovable, challenging the stereotypes often embedded in classic tales. The bad wolf. The wolf is always bad in tales. Here, creativity becomes a form of critical thinking. These writing techniques involve question established norms, introduce new perspectives, and demonstrate how language can shape truths, amplify voices, and construct arguments. And Orwell's powerful novel 1984 explores this very idea. Its ministries of truth, peace, love, and plenty manipulate society by controlling language and doing the exact opposite of what their name suggests. The Ministry of Truth is specialized in fabricating content. It's an ideal read for upper secondary students and has recently been added to the Greek Ministry of Education's official school reading list. So these are two book suggestions for primary and secondary education. And at this point, Rodari's, Gianni Rodari's method becomes crystal clear. Give everyone every use of the word, not because everyone's an artist, but because no one should be a slave. If you were to read just one book about writing, I would wholeheartedly recommend this one, a practical, inspiring, and witty companion. The art of inventing or sharing stories, the power of storytelling, is widely recognized in many areas as value added in communication for the reasons you can read on this slide. It's not only about literature, storytelling as well as figurative language is welcomingly used in impactful texts and speeches of any kind, STEAM content boldly included. And regarding learning scenarios, I've recently provided feedback to our STEAM project materials on the context of STEM Discovery campaign of this year, and so that learning scenarios are surely so-called scenarios, building the learning experience upon a story the pupils are involved in. They have a mission, cooperate with a hero, for example. And by the way, today is the last day you can submit your entry in STEM Discovery campaign. Admittedly, soft skills are essential across all fields of expertise. Immersing ourselves in diverse stories and exploring a wide range of characters, settings, and perspectives can contribute to developing these skills. So reading might be an answer, or it will be definitely an answer to the Union of Skills plan. Common themes in books for children and teens include good versus bad, a top content, and it is urgent in AI times. Family, friends, and relationships, adolescents, coming of age for older students, courage, mission, dreams, hope is very critical in children's literature. And contemporary challenges, environmental crisis, war. And I would like to emphasize the importance of hope and optimism in children's literature, which is sensible and future-oriented as it guarantees children to move forward, to engage with the world, and to strive to improve it. The lyrics of a famous song capture this spirit perfectly. And I recently read the submission criteria for 2 Greek children's book writing competitions, both of which clearly stated that interest should evoke hope and a sense of agency, especially when dealing with personal, social, and global challenges, like those referred to by the Sustainable Development Goals. Explicitly or not, national curricula are aligned with these goals. You can see it if you examine the curriculum of your country. The SDG Book Club is an initiative suggesting reading lists for each and every goal. You can even watch a video with Malala Yousafzai endorsing this campaign, speaking about the power of books, and her own story, fighting for education rights for girls and for all, is itself a story worth reading. Sustainability. The girl, take a look at the comic and the bubbles. The girl says, "Don't spend water." The kitten answers, "Okay, mommy." And here's a sneak peek into a student's book about irresponsible water consumption. AI translated the poem for you with the help of ChatGPT. And to be self-reflective on sustainability and AI, I used an AI chatbot which consumes too much water to be trained to generate a poem about water consumption, ironically. To me, it's important to confront such contradictions, especially now that both calls for sustainability and the use of AI are gaining traction. Using AI to translate a child's poem with rhyme for this webinar feels like a justified reason to use it. In another activity, we combined the movie and the book to advocate for gender equality. We paused the scene where a group of boys mocked the girls in a robotics class, underestimating their ability to handle the challenge. Let the girls make Barbie instead. My students had read the Greek translation of the best-selling book Rosy Revere Engineer and created a scratch project as a response, completed with a voiceover. Have you ever heard of this Barbie? She's Amelia Earhart. We've learned about her thanks to this book. We also embraced students' cultural backgrounds and their linguistic flavor by including idioms, local myths, and literary forms. If it's all Greek to you, again, even Greek-speaking people sometimes don't understand certain idioms. That's why we added translations with asterisks on our blog post. And as for creative writing, we couldn't leave out the Cretan tradition of Madinada, a form of rhythmic and rhythmic couplets that people of all ages create to express themselves. On the right, you can see a local history comic book featuring the ancient myth of Talos, the giant humanoid who protected Crete. We contextualize real-world problems into students' real-world experiences. For example, we framed robotics lessons around familiar agricultural activities, like building a cargo robot or a coral with an automatic door. At the same time, we framed STEM outputs in imaginary contexts found in books, encouraging students to move across contexts, thinking both in context and out of the box. Left, a drama activity where a student presents a robotic fish to Tom, a character who has a museum of machines, and asks if the fish is worthy of being included. Right, a student presents his invented robot to another while reading her book, showing that his creation could easily belong among the robotic characters she wrote about. At this point, some might wonder, how does all this book's discussion apply to e-tuning projects among readers of different languages? Is language a barrier? First of all, e-tuning projects can be a great motivation to practice English as a second language, especially in secondary education. You can also think of bilingual projects like a digital book with microfiction written by students both in their native language and in English. And of course, translation exists for a reason. If the stories are short, it's a great opportunity to show how useful translators, human or AI, can be. I don't think I need to elaborate on the usefulness of English today, but if you still feel that language might be a barrier for your students, look at the possibilities offered by silent books, books with only pictures, no words. I would love to project with a popular and amazing book, Zoom, for example, check it. Bestsellers that have already been translated and are known to be relatable to children's interests. Classics, not only reading them already translated, but rereading or rewriting them to critically explore stereotypes often found in tales, like gender roles or the halo effect, linking beauty with goodness and ugliness with evil, which is also a psychological fact. Creative partnerships, working with books around the same topic but in different languages. And remember that we share many common stories, problems, dreams. For example, international myths from ancient times show both our desire to explain and our urge to create. And last but not least, on another level, the love for books and the experience of reading itself can be shared, even non-verbally, through images, emotions, and creativity. Now, to spice things up with a sense of interactivity, I'll ask you to decide how you would like me to move on. Interactivity is something happening both in interactive books, learning paths, and programming. And there are two parts coming next, almost digital experiences and almost offline experiences. I say almost because nowadays these things are not isolated, there is a fusion. And please vote, I'm curious to see the results. Okay, is everything clear? I have 7 results so far, 7 responses. So I'll go for digital. Let's jump into this path, digital adventures. Okay. In the first column, there are items related to the word book, closely connected to real books. Read aloud videos with children's books, ebooks, digital flipbooks to click through instead of flick through, and audiobooks. A wonderful solution for accessibility and giving our eyes a rest. But there are also alternative digital storytelling types, like the ones you see in the second column, that deserve a look. Here's a short toolkit. I have tested and used all of these tools, sometimes using general purpose software that is established and versatile can work really well. Collaborative spaces are ideal for brainstorming and boosting a sense of community. For more special creations, Storage Amber and Book Creator are child-friendly and easy to use. Book Creator also has some extra features. You can easily turn a simple PDF into a flipbook with Hazen. I have used it for my portfolio as well. Pixton is a cool comic creator. Clipsump and Audacity are also practical and popular tools. Fantastic is really fun and attractive, but it requires a quiet place to record voices. A digital twin of a board with post-its is Linoid, and of course Padlet allows for more than just text. Images, photos, GIFs or GIFs, don't know the pronunciation of it, links. It also provides space for interaction. I guess that many of you are familiar with Padlet. It's very useful. The interaction includes likes, hearts, comments, and it is appropriate for school projects and teacher training. Now, the virtual and tangible can merge. The simplest way to do this is by using QR codes on printed pages to make them interactive, directing readers to a digital resource or artifact made by students. In addition, students can work on blogs, explore fan pages that complement books and offer extra material, or engage in a back and forth process with mixed media. A 3D animated object would pop up when a tablet recognized part of a drawing. This is an augmented reality tool that unfortunately is now discontinued, but this is to say that it's not about a specific tool. I found an alternative. However, with QR codes and cool things like animated drawings, we can still create some pretty amazing things. First, check out what animated drawings does. It's not just another artificial intelligence tool. It animates children's drawings, and I see great value in animating their personal creations. It's motivating. Hey, what are you dancing? You see this example now. It was made by my students last year, and I will pause it. We may ask a student, why is he dancing? Or the next figure, where are you going? And then creative writing begins. So a character can jump, dance, walk, and we can motivate our students that way. Your ideas in the Padlet, I will also look at them later. How would you use it in a creative writing activity or in an e-twinning project? This tool. You can scan the QR code, and if you have any ideas, I will be pleased to see them. Well, overall, digital opens up new possibilities that transform the way we work. You see the advantages of these tools. They are shareable, accessible, interactive, scalable, and multimodal. And for example, I experimented in Book Creator, in creating a book there, and I saw that first you have an idea. Okay, I want to create a book about cats. Then you check the tool and you find a photo with a cat. This cat is in a context. you can direct your story towards this specific picture. It can enrich your imagination, or you can read a comment made by someone else and change the plot. So there another idea comes out, okay, and another idea pops up. You can continue the story with another clue. Now with AI, this becomes even clearer, but even something as simple as a word processor with cat copy-paste features changed how I organized my thinking compared to writing with pencil and paper as I did in school. I can move parts and I know it beforehand. A digital book was created after some preparation by those kids under the slide at the playground. So this is a mix of digital and physical. I will click through it to get a glimpse and see how it feels. All these items were selected by kids, and this is the end. And there are also screenshots of other digital books made by kids. On this page, I've put it here to read the inscriptions. It is an inscription to our teachers, to our parents. So we read about the social aspects of the creation process. I also made a book in a professional learning setting. So let's jump into something more special. Conception, inception, the span. What does it mean? This project was supposed to be an imaginary episode from the imaginary series Amazing Robot, which itself is mentioned in an imaginary story for kids. I'll go to the project now. These two robots are having a fight. And there she comes. He helps them to reconcile and be friends again. It's just a small digital storytelling piece, which is quite cute, I think. Upgrade now. Well, this was a larger project. We designed the game with quite a playful attitude, combining programming and books. Take a look at the description box of our project. The game itself is supposed to be one of the video games a book character plays. You can see this character at the left. The narrative is about our goal to upgrade the robot after completing some challenges, so the kids have to overcome some barriers and answer to some questions. And the levels of the game were inspired by books. Disabilities, diamonds. You can see that I have a screenshot with level a challenge and the book that inspired us. In this book, a robot loved food and driving. Mythical creatures, of course. And all these ingredients were taken from books. At this point, I have to say that coding a game takes a lot of time and effort, especially when you do it from scratch. And going back to Alice in Wonderland, I would like to mention another visual coding environment called Alice, whose creator says that Alice was inspired by Lewis Carroll. Lewis Carroll was a mathematician, novelist, and photographer. Most important, he could do intellectually difficult things, but also realized the most powerful thing was to be able to communicate clearly and in an entertaining way. So his words perfectly match the claims about the power of storytelling. And I hope it will somehow answer some of the main questions of this webinar. In STEM-dominated and AI-driven era, I have shared my views here. So a highlight of teaching ICT and high-quality informatics is the necessity of getting students to create digital artifacts and programs, not just use them. Similarly, writing activates students more than simply reading. So the overarching goal is to foster more creators regardless of the domain. What they choose to create becomes a matter of critical thinking, especially in an era where more and more tasks are outsourced to a multitude of AI products. Bottom line, we need active minds to have active citizens. Using digital tools can either save time or waste it depending on how we get students. So I want you to pay some attention at this slide because we have somehow glorified digital. Without clear goals, disorientation sets in. Choosing age-appropriate tools and realistic projects is crucial. So too much ambition can overwhelm kids. Remember, everything is a lesson, but even mistakes, we must resist the temptation of endless AI possibilities without purpose. And finally, always be mindful of increasing screen time. Balance is key. Now, I would like to elaborate on AI. AI generating content just for novelty, or even encouraging these practices at young ages, unless there's a special or valid reason, such as outsourcing some tasks to enhance a broader or complementary goal. It is a thing. The higher order thinking we need requires a foundation of authentic creativity during school years. Almost for the same reason we didn't stop teaching math after the invention of calculators. It's also why some people in my network uploaded handmade action figures, which took more time, yet it was more fun time. And note that UNESCO guidelines suggest generative AI use for learners above 13 years old. I will unplug here to go to offline ideas. So, offline magic. Let's unpack the offline experience. Let's unbox, I told them, to make them feel the joy of holding something new and surprising in their hands. They placed the books in a handmade bookcase, bookshelf with a robot bookshelf at the center to match the theme of the books. Imagine their happy faces under colorful hearts, proud members of a reading club, hanging together, feeling connected on a colorful carpet with their pillows. And you can easily create a friendly, cozy reading corner to mark a meeting point for reading and relaxing. In the reflection poster made at the end of the project, they shared their positive feelings toward the books. They said that books are magical, like windows to the world, that they are good company, that they let you travel, and mark their words, they sound like quotes. They naturally use figurative language, often found in books. In their book reviews, they mentioned authors who had read the same books. So communication among readers, classmates, friends, relatives is vital. It plays a role in keeping readers engaged in both reading and writing. Their first little author here created not just one or two, but 4 books in a series spontaneously after enjoying positive feedback from the group. That inspired a younger student, upper right photo, who also read aloud his story to the class. And the proud girl presented her book to a real author, whose published book was part of our reading list. We also crafted pocket books, book summaries done in a cute way. Here, the mini book is placed next to the original book. Notice the lovely detail, a mini bookmark, a wonderful idea by this girl. In custom book presentations, kids practiced reading, articulation, intonation, and presentation skills. I recorded short read aloud videos, uploaded them to our blog, and showed how digital tools can be simply used to showcase unplugged work and preserve memories over time. This is why I told you that it is almost offline experience. We also did a bookbinding activity, sewing pages together with string, a fun hands-on task I learned from a webinar organized by a national foundation. A blackboard, totally old-fashioned, bookbinding, a blackboard. Here you can see the covers of their stories. The Forgetful Girl is one of them. The Little Cat That Spent Water. We saw a poem here some minutes ago. It is from this book. So far we have explored the tactile side of storytelling, and there's a reason why exchanging real cards and drawings is still a major part of e-twinning projects. It is a starter pack. Kids love the authenticity of real, tangible objects when they open an envelope by hand. Recently, on social media, I came across an e-twinning project called The Palette of Emotions, where students filled in and added to the pages of a real book that traveled from country to country. And there could be similar exchanges of other goodies in a book-themed project. This is a photo with erasers in the shape of books. It is a gift from a library, from a section with children's books. And now I'd like to ask you, do you have any ideas to share about this? Maybe you've already implemented or thought of some ideas with exchanges of tangible items related to books. Once again, I am inviting you to go to Mentimeter, and I will gladly check your inputs afterwards. Let's jump into more unplugged ideas. Imagine the book as a spark, okay? A starting point from which every student can move toward their calling or inclination, while we encourage experimentation and expose them to diverse ideas. Arts and crafts inspired by books. Zoom in on our robot bookshelf. It was a STEAM challenge. Math, estimating, counting surface areas. Physics, testing stability of body parts, figuring out how to attach arms or prevent the head from falling. The robotic outfit was also a carnival costume inspired by the book Living Robot. Students literally built characters with Lego blocks. On the left, the book character with red lights. On the right, fictional characters like a flying ship. Our projects in robotics were influenced by and contextualized in the world of specific books. We also combined robotics and books. Two girls and drama, reading and drama. Two girls improvised a dialogue between two witches from different books, trying to step into the character's shoes. Uh, Meanwhile, another team engaged in a role-playing activity wearing animal masks they made for Carnival. These animals happen to appear in multiple stories, creating a delightful story mix. Last but not least, a drama activity based on a student's book, a creation upon a creation, a chain reaction, reading, writing, playing. It was very meaningful. This shows robot navigates a labyrinth using Ariadne thread. Four robotic vehicles are meant to represent the four characters, each moving while four children speak the respective parts of the script. This is an alternative poetry. Primary and secondary schools join forces. Drawings and paintings, they come naturally. Illustrations influence students enrich their self-expression. One girl continued a book story by painting on a black page. I particularly love this picture. It could tell 1,000 words. It marks an evolution from right to left. Many students initially drew houses, trees, simple objects. Now, thanks to new influences, robots appeared in their drawings. And the newest addition was a mouse, its origin unknown, perhaps another book, a movie, but it is an evolutionary process, an enrichment, a new spontaneous structure here, a picture story told in a triplet. We also blended drawings and writing through conceptual art, playing with words like Christmas and robots, still images around haikus and say poems. And you can see the third picture is an experiment by a colleague. Educators can try it too. He combined both forms. Alternative title. It's only a detail that differentiates it from the original, but it has a point. Developing personal style and encouraging interesting coexistence of ideas matters. Comics are probably the most popular way to combine painting and writing in boxes and speech bubbles. What if the ultimate story starter? And by the way, notice that here a hero is dancing a traditional dance. Remember what we said about embracing cultural elements that surface through storytelling. So again, we see how children's thoughts and experiences surface in their creative works. Before diving into writing, one last point, that the blend of images, paintings, and storytelling provides a smooth path to writing, and especially for students who are reluctant to write. This artist is strongly recommended. He creates visual metaphors for complex things. He has a collection for the power of writing. Writing is a tool of thinking. This is also the case with teaching. It is said to be the best learning process. In writing and teaching, your ideas are tested and they are organized. When it comes to creative writing, it is more playful. Okay, I like to say it is about open-ended writing for open-minded people. There's a common misconception that creative writing is all freestyle and surreal without structure. This is only part of the story. Too often, facing a blank page is frightening and overwhelming. Aspiring writers benefit from tasks with rules, forms, and constraints to set them free, to use an oxymoron and figurative language. Simple structures like start, problem, solution, character questionnaires, limited vocabulary, or word counts can guide the interactive process. The Olympians, a group of mathematicians and writers, embraced this idea. They played with language by using constraints to free their imagination. As their founder, Raymond Queneau, put it, we are rats who build the labyrinth from which they will try to escape. This, I believe, is the essence of every game we enjoy playing. As educators, we should keep this joy alive, helping young people resist the passive temptations of AI. More ideas on writing based on books, a hero's diary, a letter to a hero, poems, changing things, adding chapters, crafting new stories. The point is to take action. Now, the nature of literature, we can understand many things. We previously saw an image, but now we examine it from a different perspective, the content that emerges. Okay, in one comic story, the lifelike sculpture escapes and breaks free. In another, the creator is destroyed by his own creature. We also connected science fiction books. Our main theme was robots with mythology about lifelike beings. The Golden Maidens of Hephaestus, the female sculpture of Pygmalion. And then back to Daedalus, a key figure in mythology. A few words about the myth. Daedalus and his son Icarus famously crafted wings to escape Crete. Icarus, thrilled by the freedom of flight, disobeyed his father's warnings, flew too close to the sun, melted the wax holding his wings together, and fell into the sea. This ancient myth reflects a timeless theme. the dangers of arrogance, hubris, and the punishment that follows the overestimation of human power. We rewrote the story. Today, we will talk about the story of Daedalus and Icarus in that year. And you see now that the temptation, what the thrills Icarus is the smartphone. In this version, Icarus listened to his father and nothing happened to him. In this version, there was no happy ending. Here, it is a letter to a book character. Okay, we wrote it with voice typing in a Google Doc. Mrs. Fox, we heard Mrs. Fox saying that robots cannot be in the forest. The robots only cause distraction. So students write a letter saying that this is not always the case. Mrs. Fox, I hope you understand that robots do both good and bad for nature. It also depends on us, the people who make them. And they show a useful robotics project about recycling. I like the fact that different versions appear, the horizons broaden. You know, when the data of technology is not related to imaginary humanoid robots, but a familiar and existing application. So these are flashes from a case study project with robots and science fiction, a genre that is becoming popular and relevant. It connects other genres, literature and cinema, referencing the humanoids of mythology and fantasy. Now, technology resembles magic, especially with AI on the rise. And all in all, science fiction is about unveiling our desires. A kid once said, I want a robot to do my homework, and our fears. We fear that more powerful creatures may or will definitely conquer us. Thus, it helps us explore ourselves and our societies, crossing cultures, time, and space. Here, the kids created a mind map connecting
Theodora, I'm so sorry to interrupt, but we are gonna have to start wrapping up, sadly.
Okay.
Thank you.
So you can see the mind mapping patterns that were also understood by kids. But my point here is that it's not enough to read books. We have to provide a variety, a diversity of versions, to have multiple perspectives, and to always reread our stories. This is what I'm doing as a teacher, as an educator. I am always reread what my previous projects again and again to make meaning, to act upon the next chapters. I would love to have the takeaway. What is your takeaway from this webinar? And it is the last time, I think, I'm asking you to go to a Mentimeter. So I think that you now deserve to take a look at your answers. Some ideas for a book-themed project, handcrafted bookmarks, perfect, and reading a guide or discussion questions, give bags with slogans. So cool. And now our profiles. Are we book lovers? Yes, we strongly believe that we are book lovers. In general, I hope that everyone has found their position in these slides. So Kira, sorry for for being a little more than the time. Okay.
No worries at all. Thank you very, very much. We really enjoyed the webinar. It was very informative with a lot of hands-on tools. So that is always good.
I'm happy to hear that.
Always. And we also got a lot of positive comments in the chat, which is always, always very nice.
Surely.
Um, yes. So sadly, well, I think maybe we can do one short question, if you promise to keep the answer also short. So one thing that I was curious about is how would you frame the role of AI in reading and writing education? Is it assistant or is it more adversary?
Well, of course, as I have previously said, it depends on the use we are making. It's important to see things from a critical point of view. AI is not an wow thing, okay, but we don't have to demonize it, okay. And it also depends on the user of AI. For us, for educators, might be helpful, but for our students, we have to be cautious, especially when our audience is younger students. We have to instill the love of creating, to maintain this urge they have naturally. Kids want to draw, okay? They don't want to go and say and prompt a picture. I want this picture. Let them create, and after a solid basis of critical thinking and the lower levels of Bloom's taxonomy are achieved, then we can jump to higher order thinking and uh, outsource to AI what it is to be outsourced.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for that answer. That's very informative. And also, thank you again in the first place for accepting our invitation and even more so for sharing all this expertise and knowledge with us. Before we officially close this session, just a bit of practical information. The evaluation form has been shared by my colleague Marta. It's in the chat. If you could please fill that in at the end of the session, that would be much appreciated. As previously said, the recording and presentation will be uploaded on the ASAP page in the beginning of next week. No certificates are offered for this webinar. And the second thing I wanted to share with you is about our upcoming professional development offer. We have some courses and webinars upcoming and also some interesting articles to take a look at. So please visit the course catalog on the European School Education Platform at your earliest convenience to not miss any exciting opportunities. And lastly, we also wanted to make you aware of the eTwinning groups. eTwinning feature groups are a virtual space for eTwinners to share resources, project ideas, celebrate achievements, and build meaningful connections with other eTwinners. Take a look at all of the feature groups and join the literacy groups to keep this conversation going. And lastly, thank you for joining us today, and many thanks, Theodora. In the eTwinning webinars, we have the custom to leave the floor to our speaker for a final word, suggestion, or wrap up to share with our participants. So please feel free to share.
Yeah, I would like to really thank you for this opportunity, because it was also an opportunity for me to reorganize my ideas and combine my interests that may seem opposite, creative thinking and algorithmic thinking. But I think that everything boils down to thinking. So we have to reconsider everything we read and the distinctions between opposite things uh, to create something really innovative with our students. We have to be open-minded so that our students will follow our path.
Well, thank you very much, Theodora. That was very lovely. Thank you, and I wish you all a wonderful rest of your week. And we hope to see you all in May for our webinar on robotics at school, building skills and values for the future. Thank you all, and goodbye.
Bye bye to all. Thank you.